Okay, so I just want to show you a interesting version of a magic board, which is planning travel. And this is for a family holiday. So it is something that you might not immediately think of as a magic board, but we're going to Japan and there's a couple of cool opportunities. One of which is to fly home during the daytime. Now, this might not sound so important, but for me, I'm like, I really don't like economy night flights at all, like zero. And the difficulty is that there is basically no flights, except for one. There's a Tokyo to Sydney flight on during the day. Leaves at 8:40 a.m. out of Tokyo, gets in at like 8:40 p.m. in Sydney. And that is the flight that I was like, I want to be on that flight. All of the flights over from Australia during the day, not a problem. I can hang out during the day in economy, it's just fine. But night flights, my kids are big, my kids are tall, and it's not my favorite experience. So planning this thing was a bit of a challenge, but I want to show you, once again, we've got our processes. The first thing was to decide, are we going agent, are we going DIY? For this one, we're doing it at nighttime, after work, DIY works. We've got our dates and locations. These have been built out and done. Itinerary has evolved a little bit, and I'll show you how this is planned out with a magic board. And then we've got flights and accommodation. We already have tickets for the snow on the Icon Pass, which gives us 5 days in Thredbo, 5 days in Niseko, 5 days in Lottie. So that's all dialed in. But you can see here the flights are best from Brisbane to Osaka, and this opens up an opportunity which is pretty cool, which go to Universal Studios. It is a Saturday, which wasn't my ideal, but whatever. We've got Brisbane, Osaka up to Sapporo. We've got to get somehow from Sapporo to Miyako. Then this night flight, Tokyo to Sydney, and then Sydney back to Brisbane. So this one we're looking to pick up on points, so it hasn't been worked on yet. And then the accommodation all needs working on at this point. You can see that Universal Studios. We've got a hotel to be in Tokyo for that 8:40 a.m. flight, and then also a Sydney hotel to lock in as well. Let's come down and have a look at our results groups. So our overall results, the big one here is obviously the dog. What are we going to do with our dog? That's not been resolved yet. I'm going to add that as an important thing up here. Come back up here, and we have had a lot of success with the dog sitting services online, dog sitter. And so they get our house and they look after our dog, which works really well. And coming down here, let's just pack all of that up so we can get down quickly. Let's have a look. Flights, hotels, transport. So you can see that some of them are done. Brisbane to Osaka booked. Osaka to Sapporo booked. Niseko to Miyako is not being sorted out. And in fact, I've put this in the wrong place, but you can see I grabbed my Rome to Rio, and this gave me a whole bunch of options for getting from Niseko down to Miyako. Some trains, some flights. It looks like potentially the flight from Sapporo to Nagano is going to be our best one, but it's also options to come into Niigata and Toyama. These right now open up into Google Flights. You can see while that flight's really cheap, I don't really want to get in at 10:15, but maybe this 10 o'clock flight looking pretty good. Are there other options? There's lots of options for flying out from Sapporo down to Nagano. It is peak ski season, so whatever, but that's there. I've actually messed that up. So what I'm going to do is just paste that in and then cut that out and get that in there. That needs to come up to there, and that's probably wrong. I imagine, yeah, that is going to be wrong. I'm just going to delete that. What else have we got? Lottie Rai, Miyako to Tokyo. This is going to be on a bullet train. We did that last year. That is going to be on the 29th. We need the hotel in Haneda, which we've not been to before, so that needs to be booked. The flight out is booked. Sydney hotel not booked. Sydney to Brisbane. We want to do this on Qantas frequent flyer. But you can see here that what we've got is a pretty clear itinerary. Flight 10th of Jan, Arrive Osaka Hotel 10th of Jan. Universal Studios 11th. Flight from Osaka up to Sapporo 12th of Jan. We'll be in Niseko from 12th to 19th. Niseko to Miyoko, that is going to be on the 19th. And then maybe that's actually the 18th. And put that as the 18th. Put that there. Those dates were swapped around. 18th, that gives us 6 days skiing. And then out on the 18th, arrive Lottie Arai on the 9th, 18th there. Fly, train 29th. Haneda Hotel 29th. Tokyo flight 30th, Sydney Hotel 30th, back in Brisbane on the 31st. So pretty clear itinerary. Obviously it doesn't have the potential to put the dash through there, but it gives me a due date of 12th of Jan through the 18th. We may tweak this a little bit depending on availability and that sort of stuff for flights. But that is an overview of using a magic board for planning travel and how easy it is to make the adjustments, drag and drop, rather than trying to do this on a Google Sheet or an Excel that you might traditionally look to do that. Hope you found that valuable. If you want to check out Magic Boards for running projects in a simple and effective way, where you're putting the instructions with the results on a consistent design every single time, then head over to www.magicboards.io. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you in a new video very soon.